When I first started working with healing diamond pendants, I learned two things that blew my mind. One of them I'm going to share in this video. What you'll see are drawings of the colors in people's energy fields that I drew first before they started wearing a healing diamond pendant, and then about a week later. For those new to my work, I first want to familiarize you with how I perceive the human energy field. This is the template that I'll be using in the drawings that I'm going to show you in a second. The layers here are colored to help you identify them, but these colors won't be present in the templates I'm using, only the black lines to delineate the layers. Surrounding these layers is an area of pure energy, neither positive or negative, non-dual. I bring that up because it is going to come up in one of the drawings that I'm going to show you. Okay, let's look at the first client. This was the before picture, and notice all this color in her spiritual field. Now, that's quite amazing. What that means is that she was very much drawing upon that energy to stay alive. Because look at all the absence of color here. These parallel lines denote either an absence or a breakdown in structure, and structure is essential to keep the energy field resilient, well organized, and to make sure it is flowing color rays toward the physical body and throughout itself, to keep itself healthy and to keep it well protected. Looks like the crown chakra vortex is off to the side. There is some remnants of the root vortex extending downwards to the body into the earth. We're looking for ideally the color red. What that red signifies is that maybe not physically or super physically, but in the emotional, causal, and mental aura, she is reaching into the earth. This purple here in the intuitive aura shows that there's a polarity imbalance in this particular field. There's also purple up here, which is good. There's also yellow. That probably means that a lot of this spiritual yellow is coming through her crown chakra out of place as it is, and yet there is a break right here at the intuitive level. So it's bypassing the intuitive to reach the body this way. Now, as a matter of consistency, I do not put any color inside the physical body, first of all, because that would be laborious detail and because it's so small in relationship to the field. And second of all, I only wanted to add color if the physical body had a particular need for it. So in summary, we have a profound breakdown in structure. She is relying on her spiritual self to sustain her. And it looks like there is a recognition of the layers of the field here. Notice how there's blue right next to the delineations of each auric field. So that's significant. The colors here are confined to a particular layer, the mental layer. And also here, these colors are confined to the causal. These colors are confined to the emotional body. So that's a good thing. That's a strength. Her energy field does recognize the overall structure of her energy field. Now, after wearing the pendant for a week, let's look over here. What a difference! Isn't that amazing? There's so much going on here. One of the first things I want you to notice is that she is accessing life-giving energies from within her field. Her chakras are beginning to do their job, calling in life-giving energy, color rays, and distributing them as needed. So that is absolutely fantastic. The other thing that I'm sure you noticed right away is how much more color is there. And these colors are just filling in the field. If this is the first time you have seen a drawing like this, you'll also notice that there are blank spaces. So along here in the intuitive body, there's blank space here, here, and you're going to see that in a lot of the drawings. The blank white areas between colors, I would say, is rather insignificant. That could just be the limitation of wanting to make sure that the colors are distinct and they don't muddy each other. But the bigger gaps here and the absences, that is what is significant. It could either mean there is a lack of information, the body just doesn't know. The energy field can't determine what the colors are. And so there's no information to share. The other reason that those absences could be there is if there is indeed a lack of color, completely void of color. Yet in 1 week, this is a huge improvement. Okay, let's look a little deeper here. We see that the root chakra's connection with the earth, that red has improved dramatically from where it was here. And what's interesting is that the red stops at the intuitive layer once again, okay? But the color has changed. It's now indigo, whereas back here it was purple. There is some influence of the causal body from the causal layer of the aura, but also reaching into the mental layer of the aura. I would interpret that as something in the past is still on this person's mind. Maybe it's a limiting belief about how well-nourished can I be given certain maybe situations that I'm in, certain perhaps karmic situations, considering this is in our causal. The causal layer is a repository. It contains the records of our karma. It contains information about our past, present, and future. So this is significant here. If this was a limitation, you might think, well, why didn't it show up back here? Because there was far more important issues, namely, look at all this lack of structure. That is very important. And that's gone. The colors filled in right away. Now, I have to say that this person has been using healing diamonds for quite some time, so her body knew exactly what to do with the diamond energy once it received that diamond energy in a way that it could make use of. Remember how I talked about the delineation back here? The blue was well organized. It's well organized within the mental body here. There's blue, there's all blue in here. So that's well organized. The mental body, quite well organized because its colors are corralling in the mental layer of the aura. Contrast that with the causal, emotional, and superphysical layers. We have colors that are passing the boundaries of these layers. Here we have green going from superphysical to emotional layer, yellow's going from emotional to causal, green here is going from superphysical, emotional to causal. So the next step in this person's energy field evolution, I would guess, would be greater organization of these first 3 layers of the aura. Notice on our first image, there was no pink showing at all, but here there is. No, pink is not one of the 7 colors of the rainbow, but those 7 colors exist for the physical body. The color red is too, you might say, low of a vibration for the emotional body, and so the emotional body's red is actually pink. That's just the way it is. Same thing with blue. Sometimes blue is just too much for that emotional body, and so it will appear as turquoise. Orange may appear as gold. In any case, this is growing into quite a beautiful vortex connecting with the earth, a beautiful root vortex. However, it is not going to show up in every healthy energy field. It only shows up when the body wants to show this to me, number one. And the reason it wants to show it to me is to reveal that, yes, this individual's very much reaching for nourishment from the earth. That is one indication that healing gemstones might be particularly helpful for this person's healing journey. And I happen to know that she does work with many different healing gemstones.